I'm Max Sterling, welcome to LarpMix. Today on the show we're doing a maker's challenge and we're making fairy doors. Now if you've never seen a fairy door, it's just a little door that you make out of wood or cardboard or something. You stick it on a tree outside and you say the fairies live in it. It's something that's interesting for little kids to interact with, and you put in your garden if you do gardening, and it's just a fun little sort of focal point that you can have outside. Now, I'm going to show you how I would make one. There are thousands of tutorials, but I've never made one, so we're just going to go off the cuff, and I think it's going to turn out okay. But you can make them out of very simple objects that you find around your home. So this project will probably be free if you want to try it, or cost very little, depending on if you have to buy anything. Now, these fairy doors can get very elaborate. We're going to keep it pretty simple because for a LARP purpose, if you're going to put them around as decoration, or if you're going to use them as like a little plot piece to interact with, if you have characters going around searching, or you just happen to walk by one and find it in the forest, then you're going to want it to be fairly cheap in case you lose it or it gets broken or rained on or whatever. So I'm going to show you how to make some cheap ones. But they're pretty interesting. They're called fairy doors, but I mean, you can call them whatever you want. They could be for gnomes, trolls, whatever your game's lore or history is, leprechauns, whatever you want to do. And you can put them wherever. You can put them inside, you can put them outside on a tree. I mean, really, they're pretty versatile. I mean, you just do whatever you want to with them, basically. I'm just going to show you how to make it. And as far as from a LARP perspective, I've seen these at games where you can interact with them, and then sometimes, like I said, just as a background, it's pretty cool to have these out there. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll show you how to make one, and I hope you give it a try. And this is what I'm working with. So I have a piece of black cardboard or poster board. I have these little weird tags that I found in a parking lot. I don't know what they are, but I've already cut down 2 of them. And we're going to use these for hinges. Now, if you're making large fairy doors, you could use the whole thing, but you'd have to know what this is or find one of these. I have no idea what it is. I got a screw and an acorn nut, which I talked about in my last video. That's going to be our doorknob. A piece of plastic for glass. Some fabric in case we need it for curtains or something. And some popsicle sticks, which I bought, but if you eat popsicles, you could use those. And a pair of scissors. The first thing we're going to do is lay out some sticks onto the cardboard here and glue them down, and then we'll cut out a door. Now you could also cut the sticks first, but since I'm going to use a saw to do it, I'm just going to glue them on here first and then cut it all out to make it much faster for myself. But if you're going to cut these using an X-Acto blade or something, you can do that. It's just going to take you a lot longer time. Just be careful you don't cut yourself. Now what I've done is cut off a corner of this backer board, laid out the popsicle sticks how I want them, and I'm going to go with, I think, 7 of them. Seems like a good width for the height, but you can, do whatever you want, but this is what I'm going to go with. So 7 popsicle sticks on this backer board, and then I'm going to hot glue these onto here for now. And I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll show you how we're going to cut. Now that you have your sticks glued down, it's time to design the door, and we just need to freehand, what we want the store to look like. I'm going to make it rounded on top. You can do whatever you want. You can even leave it just like this if you're in a hurry. I used hot glue, but if you use craft glue, it'll be a lot more forgiving and allow you to reposition them. Hot glue, you got to just lay the glue on the back of the sticks and lay them down one by one. So keep that in mind. Craft glue would probably be better, but hot glue will make it go a lot faster. I decided to do sort of a cathedral style door. You could do it just rounded or whatever. I measured it and used a circle to overlap each other, but if you just laid an iron down on here, it would work infinitely better. However, you can make it rounded, squared, cathedral sort of style, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to try to cut this out so it looks good, and then the bottom of it, we're just going to cut a flat line. And like I said, I'm going to use a saw, but you could use an X-Acto blade or whatever you want to do. And that is how you make a Pac-Man ghost. Thanks for watching. No, just kidding. We're going to just, like I said, even up the bottom here and make it straight. You can, not make it straight if you want to give it a more sort of rustic look. But I'm going to try to make this look a little bit more finished. But this is where we're at so far. So let me cut this bottom off, and then we'll start attaching some fun stuff to it to see how it's going to look. And then we'll get to painting and staining and whatever else we're going to do. I've now cut everything down to size, and I dry fitted my items here. So I have that acorn nut. I have those things that I found, whatever they are, sort of as the hinges. And I mean, really, that's pretty much it. Now, if you didn't want to put the 3D adornments on there, you could just paint it right now and put it wherever you want. If you're making like 30 or 40 of these for a LARP, this is where you could stop. I mean, really, you could just draw a doorknob on there or whatever and be done. But we're going to take it, to the next level. What I'm going to do is, rather than paint the door, I'm actually just going to stain it with an actual wood stain. And I'm going to make a window in it and a couple other little things. So let me go ahead and do that and then show you the finished product. Now, as far as what I'm going to do next, I'm pretty sure we all know how to do it. I'm going to just stain the wood. I'm going to paint that, those hinges and maybe that acorn nut. And then for the window, I'm just going to drill a hole in it with my drill. And I'm going to use that plastic I showed you in that fabric to make a little curtain and a window for on the inside. And I think you'll like the final product. Now we drilled a hole in the center, and I left it a little rough because this was starting to look too sort of fabricated and not bespoke enough, so we left it a little rough. I'm just going to use some paper towels and some wood finish here, and we're just going to wipe it on. So even if you don't have brushes and stuff, you can just use a paper towel to put this on. Make sure you wear gloves. And just sort of let that natural wood fiber in the popsicle sticks come through. And you can see we got the makings of a pretty fine door. Now, if you wanted to, you could lay another stick across here. I may do that, and that'd make it look a little bit more like a door. But like I said, really it's up to you. It's as fancy or as simple as you want to go with it. And here is my finished fairy door. Now, I went pretty rustic with mine and pretty low key. Now, you can do as much elaborate stuff as you want to yours. They can be, bright, brilliant colors, whatever you want to do, but I decided to stay just sort of wood and a copper sort of look to it. Now, I put a little window in there and a little curtain behind the window, if you see that, and I use this piece of plastic and just a little extra piece of fabric that I had. You can't probably see, but there's a little sewn seam in there as well, which makes it really look like a curtain. And then of course we have the acorn nut for the handle. That window cover there is a grommet. If you watched my last video, that's actually the bottom half of a grommet. And then of course those little plastic pieces that I broke off make the hinges. And then I used rub and buff on them, and then I gave everything a black wash so that it looked weathered on top of the stain that I did. So I'm pretty happy with how it came out, and I hope that you give this a try. If you do, please absolutely post a video, let me know about it through email or social media so that I can link to your video, because this is a maker's challenge. Now, I would love to see what you do with it, and it doesn't matter if it's like this or something completely different. Like I said, interpretation is entirely up to you and your game and what you feel like making. And like I said, there are thousands of tutorials out there, but most of the ones I see are very elaborate. That's why I decided to go a little bit more simple with it. And like I said, if you want to make it, let me know. I'll add you to a playlist, and everyone can check out what we're doing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click like, please subscribe if you haven't already, and of course tell all of your friends about these awesome videos that I'm here making. If you've ever wanted to make a fairy door, or if you have kids and you want to make these things, a school project, I don't know, go ahead and reference this video. I hope that it was helpful, and of course, as always, adventure on.